we're here to answer your questions about anything and everything, job search, career advice, whatever, anything related to it. So if you want, you can go ahead and you can put your questions in the comments. Oh, hold on. Here. Boop. Okay. Put your questions in the comments and I will monitor them and I will let Tony know what her questions are. So, oh, it looks like it does. Hey, we got someone. Yeah, it sends it to us through Restream.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Okay. Hey. So let's see. Let's cover the first thing I want to talk about is how long a job search typically lasts.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. I think that one of the things that we talk to our clients about on the FlexJobs coaching team is, to manage your expectations during a job search. It is normal, although it doesn't feel normal, to have a job search take 3 to 6 months. And of course, that averages all industries and all different types of jobs together. So some people might be a lot less than that. And for some people, especially if you're doing a career change or a career pivot, it might take longer than 6 months. And so there are a lot of things that you can do to help progress your job search and ensure that you are doing what you need to do as a job seeker to make it go as quickly as possible, like tailoring your resume and writing a cover letter and networking. And we can talk about all of those things. But a good rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months on average. Or the other way that you can look at it is there's some data that's out there that suggests that for every $10,000 in salary you are looking for, that equates to about 1 month of job searching. So if you are looking for a job that's about $60,000, it wouldn't be unreasonable for you to have a job search that lasts about 6 months.
Okay, cool. So we're getting a ton of questions right now. Let's see. I'm going to go and scroll up to the top. Let's see. What's the easiest field to break into if you've never worked remotely?
Oh, well, it sort of depends on what your background is in, right? And so one of the things that you want to do when you're trying to figure out what type of job, in this case, what type of remote job would work for you is what are the skills that you have to offer at your next role? So what are your biggest strengths? What do people tell you you are good at? What skills do you have that might be transferable to other types of jobs? And once you kind of get a running list, this is some of the pre-work that goes into your job search. So before you start reading job postings and trying to find that perfect job, you need to really evaluate and brainstorm and understand where your skill set is to know what particular types of jobs you would want to apply for.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm putting in the chat so that everyone can click it. I've got an article on how you can find a full-time remote job, and that should help a little bit too in guiding you in the right direction. Let's see. Remote jobs. Let me do that. Okay, so then let's see what else we've got. How is it possible to find a remote job that allows workers to work outside the U.S.? I can only find companies that require employees to stay in the U.S.
Yeah, I think that 95% of jobs that are remote require a location or have a location requirement. And this is because companies all over the world have to abide by tax laws for that particular country or that particular location. Some companies even want their employees to be based regionally or near a major metropolitan city. So remote jobs tend to have location requirements. However, 5% of remote jobs do allow you to work from anywhere in the world. So if you are overseas and you would like to work remotely, if you are using the FlexJobs website in particular, you can search for jobs that are available to people no matter where they live. You can do the job from anywhere in the world. So you might even be in a situation where you want to travel from country to country to country. And the best thing to do when you're looking for a job and wanting to balance that desire to be somewhat of a digital nomad is to look for jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world.
Awesome. Okay. So I just put in a link on companies too that hire people to work from anywhere. So we have a list of 30 companies, and that article is now in the comments, and I responded to the comment as well. But we also have a section on our site. You can go to flexjobs.com/jobs, and from there you can do search by location. And then you can click the work from anywhere section. And from there, you can filter out your search to 100% remote or whatever. Obviously, it would be work from anywhere. You could do it by category. You could do it full-time, part-time, and that'll help you find the right jobs. So let's see, what's the next one? Why are all flexible jobs only for US and Canada? There are some, though, like we said, that are work from anywhere. Let's see. Let's perform looking for. So what if you're unemployed and you're looking for a remote job?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I would pay attention to during your job search. Number one, do some things that are skill building. Are there technology tools that you could enhance and add to your repertoire that you want to learn a little bit more? Is there a course that you might want to take on Skill Crush or another one of those sites so that you can increase, some of the skills and show that you are being professionally active during your career break? Which brings me to the sort of tactical part of the job search and applying for jobs. If you are currently unemployed, if it's been over 6 months, you probably want to put a career break section in your resume or on your resume with the dates, when you stopped working and, when your career break started to present day, so that employers don't fill in the blanks with what you might have been working on, or they might say, well, this person hasn't been working since January of 2022. I wonder what they've been doing. Tell them. You don't have to give them a full, really long story. It's planned career break or active career break with one bullet that says, intentional pause out of the workforce, excited and energized to return to work. And if you've been working on courses or earned any certificates, you can add that to that section as well.
Cool. Okay. So I figured this out. We can show the comment. Look at this. Okay. Oh, Kim wants to know, how important is your LinkedIn profile?
Yes. So networking and having connections at the organizations that you're looking to work at is very important. So we always share with our clients that, you've got to take care of your applications and make sure you're doing all the right things there. But networking and making connections and growing your network and positioning yourself as an expert in your area of expertise is only going to work to make you more visible on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile, think of it as really sort of digital. I heard this in a webinar, digital proof or social proof of what you've accomplished and what you've experienced. It's also a living, breathing place for you to continually update your career information. So make sure you're not forgetting about that and that it's very current. The skills section on LinkedIn, you are allowed to have 50 skills selected that are skills that you hold, that you are good at, that you want to show employers that you have. That is where the most powerful AI piece is on LinkedIn for recruiters, because when they're looking to hire people, they are going to use skills-based searches many times. So you want to make sure that those keywords that are needed for an accountant or a marketing executive or somebody who's in business development, you want to make sure that your skills match the skills that people would be searching for when they're looking to fill roles. And so that's one section that I would pay attention to. You also have a lot of opportunity in your headline section and your about section to share with others what you can bring to an organization. So make sure that it's up to date and current.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's move on. We've got another one. How do I get a job without much experience? We get this one a lot.
We sure do. So again, back to one of our first questions, thinking about transferable skills, the skills that you have acquired maybe in your schooling or in some volunteering, any other types of activities that you've done outside of a work environment can translate and transfer to your next job or the first job that you find. So you want to make sure that you are very comfortable knowing and expressing and showcasing those skills that you have. And again, to the previous question, networking and making connections online on platforms like LinkedIn, but also your personal network in person, letting people know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
Maybe they have some ideas for where you might be able to volunteer to get some more experience. Again, take courses, talk to people who are doing the work that you want to do, and see what suggestions and advice they have to offer to help you get from where you are today to that place where you have a job and you're earning and gaining experience for your career.
Okay. Awesome. Their comments are just rolling right in. Let's see here. That's a lot of the same. So trying to improve my LinkedIn profile and make more connections to open the possibilities of getting a remote job. That's good. That's really good to do. Usually, let's see, a lot of the location thing. We covered that in the beginning. If you want to reiterate that about they're seeing a lot of jobs that are done here. Here's one. So what about remote jobs that can be performed from Paraguay, working for European and US companies? I'm discovering the possibilities. Any ideas?
So again, I would search for jobs that can be done from Paraguay or also from anywhere in the world to help laser focus your search so that you don't have to self-eliminate jobs that are only available to people in Australia or Peru or the United States. So you really want to be able to hone in on the specific area that you want to work, or make it broad enough to be anywhere in the world, and you'll find those jobs that way.
Oh, so I like this one. There's so many free certificates out there to take advantage of. I think we have a list on our blog of some like training stuff that you can do. I'm going to get that link really fast if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, there are a lot that you can take advantage of. I think one of the things that's important to do is when you are looking for a job and deciding on whether or not you should do a certificate is look at the job postings, talk to people who do that type of work, and see what value having that certification would bring to your candidacy. If you read 5 job postings and in bold, all 5 of them say must be certified in this, well, that's a pretty good indication that if that's the type of job you want to do, to be the most competitive applicant that you can be, having that certification might make a difference. You want to then, as you're exploring and making these decisions, talk to the organizations that give you the instruction for the certification and see what their placement percentages are when somebody finishes a certification, or if they help you, or what their network is like in order to get you connected with people who hire specifically for folks that have that type of certification. So certifications are a great way to build skills. I think it's also something that you want to do your due diligence on to see what value it does add and what impact it will have on your candidacy and your long-term career goals.
Okay. I really like this. This is something that we could maybe suggest to our development team, but they want to know if we have a filter to find companies that will give visa sponsorship so that people can relocate to the US. That is something we can definitely suggest.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
I do have, it's not a flex, I'll find it. I do have, because we are not employment law by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
So again, this type of requirement or desire for people, you have to do some research and figure out. I know that there are different types of visas, work visas that companies give. And so you might just do a Google search on US companies that give work visas and go from there.
Yeah. Okay. That's true. Let's see. Let's say this one, I've got it right here. Should we do unpaid internships to reskill from marketing to HR?
Listen, so when you're doing a career change, especially something that marketing to HR, there are definitely transferable skills, don't get me wrong, but there is also a whole new skill set in HR that maybe you didn't get to exercise as a marketing person. So volunteering or doing an internship, yes, those are options for you. It's important, and I've mentioned this a few times, we mention this to our clients, talk to people who are doing the type of HR work that you want to do. Try to set up some informational interviews to ask these specific questions. everybody knows their own financial situation and what they can handle and support in terms of taking on unpaid work. And so that's also a personal question and a personal decision for you. But that is a way to get experience. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. LinkedIn. So someone says they're an accountant, but unable to find remote work. We have an entire section in our database of accounting.
Yeah. There's lots.
I will share that in the comments so that everyone can see that. I mean, and I'll also share the link to all of the career categories. Basically just going to flexjobs.com/jobs, and you'll be able to see all of the categories we have. There are so many. Also using like our advanced search, you can do that and search for keywords and find the type of job that you want as well. Let's see what else we have coming in. If anyone has any like resume or cover letter questions, let us know. Let's see. How to find jobs on LinkedIn. I mean, you can find jobs on LinkedIn. However, you do have to still be careful about that because there still can be scams. That's where FlexJobs is different. FlexJobs, we hand screen and verify every job and company before we add it to our database. So that's why we're a paid subscription, because you're paying for that service of us keeping you safe during your job search. Let's see. To the free coding data. Did you send that link to the free coding data certificate programs? I think that was someone else in the comments that was providing that. Let's see.
I'm looking too at the questions while you're looking at that.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
cool. Oh, yeah, mute it and then it won't. I did the same thing at the beginning.
Let's see. I'm not seeing. I see lots of comments. Thank you, guys.
How much is the subscription and how long does it last? I can get that. I'm gonna sign out so that I can see everything. So our subscriptions go 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, or 1 year. And the 1 week is $9.95, but then it all goes all the way up to 1 year, which is $59.95. But if you use the code LinkedIn, you can get up to 30% off your membership. That way we know that you found us through social and maybe you were attending one of these Q&A sessions and you can let us know. So all the subscription information is going to be at this link, but you get more than just the job listings. You also get skills tests, you get resume profiles, career coaching Q&A sessions
weekly.
Just this every week. Yeah. So, let's see. Of course, you guys are welcome. We're happy to help. Does the advanced search have other filters? Nonprofit, company size. Our advanced search basically goes by keywords, US location or international location, the remote work level, whether that's 100% remote or option for remote or hybrid remote. Then we also have the job types, whether they're employee, freelance, or temporary. You can also search by career level. You can search entry level, experienced manager, senior level manager. We have lists, like the featured and award-winning employers that are known for being family friendly, that are known for being diversity friendly, military spouse friendly. We have that in the advanced search. You can also search by full-time, part-time, flexible, alternative. And then also if you're willing to travel. So there's all different ways that you can search for the type of job. You should always search with your location first to see what comes up. But then if you're not finding much, you can do the work from anywhere option. And there's little check marks right there. But I just shared the link to our advanced search in the comments so that everyone can check that out. Do we get CV writing experience, writing assistance if we subscribe? I have 3 years HR advisor experience and I still get no interest when I send my CV for suitable roles. Please help.
Yeah, so if you're a FlexJobs member, our coaching team does have coaching services which include resume writing. So you can definitely take advantage of that. That is an additional charge. However, our coaching services and resume writing services are discounted for FlexJobs members at rates that are, Kelly, you probably know this more than I do, about half of the average cost
Yeah.
for resume
Mhm.
services
Mhm.
and career coaching. So we
Mhm.
also do have some templates or some samples in our career advice section on the site where you might be able to get some assistance or some brainstorming ideas, at least to look at a resume and kind of help work through yours. We typically, for the remote jobs, and I guess any of the jobs that are on our site, for the most part, really require or look to have resumes versus a CV. But that's not true 100% of the time. Of course, are still some opportunities that do require a CV, particularly in academia or if you're working at a university. So we
Yeah.
absolutely have those resources.
Yeah, definitely. So this one we get all the time.
Oh yeah,
I
salary.
notice salaries are often not listed on the jobs on FlexJobs. Is there any way to get this information more readily? I've been a member since April. Thank you
Yeah,
for
so
being a
there's a
member.
yeah, we wish that there was an easy answer where you could
Yeah.
find all the information. But there are some tips and tricks that you can
Mhm.
use and follow. So there are a few states that require a salary to be posted in all of their job postings. So one of the things that you could do is you could search for a job and use the state of Colorado. That's one of the states where it's required to
Mhm.
get an idea of what the salary might be for that job. And sometimes you'll be able to find the same job, same experience, and get a salary average. But there are some other sites like Glassdoor, payscale.com, and salary.com, which can help you do some initial research to find a range or hopefully find a range of salary that might be being paid for that particular job that you're looking to apply for. Companies that hire remote employees can pick their salary, or they use one of three different strategies really to select or pick their salary. One might be they may decide to pay their employees based on the average salary for people where the company is headquartered. So if it's headquartered in New York City, the remote salaries would be equivalent to what you would get if you were working in person in New York City, no matter where you lived. Some companies do it that way. Some companies will do it based on where you live as the remote employee. So if the company's
Mhm.
based in New York and you live in Florida, they will look at averages to the local area where you are. And the third way is kind of a combination of those two, really. It's looking at a national average for that particular role. And remote companies, people hiring for remote workers would select that option
Yeah.
to determine their salary bands.
Okay. Um, let's see here. I like this one. Let's see. What's the best way to write skills in a CV?
So there are a number of different ways that you want to do this. First and foremost, most resumes now have a profile summary or summary of qualifications section right at the top, and that is a place where you would want to use and include your core competencies or your key skills. Also, when you're going through your work experience section, if you are talking about a project that you did, and the job posting mentions needing to be detail oriented or having attention to detail, you can also weave in some of those skills into the bullets that you're sharing in your experience section.
Yeah. Okay. And I just shared this is our most popular
Yes.
on our site, but it's the 20 must have skills that you should have on your resume. If, of course, you have those skills. Um, always have to say that. So, what else do we have here? Why do some of the sites ask the year you graduated from high
Mhm.
school?
Yeah, most job out. I mean, that's just data that there. I don't know the exact reason, but you do have to include dates for degrees and high school graduation dates on many career site job applications that are
Yeah.
online. You don't have to put that on your resume by any means,
Mhm.
but if it's asked for in the job application that you're filling out, it's usually a required field, and there's no way around it to have a complete application. You got to fill out
Yeah, because
the
especially if
requirement.
something, if it's not complete, it won't pass it through,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna put. I have another article on because I think a lot of that has to do with ageism too.
Hmm.
So I'm putting the how to combat ageism in a job search, and I just put that link in the comments as well. Let's see.
Perfect.
Mhm. Is there any healthcare jobs remote on FlexJobs? Yeah, we've got an entire
Yeah,
section of healthcare jobs.
that's one of our categories, right? Healthcare.
Yeah, it is. I will find that. Let me find that link. I think it's like medical and health jobs. Yep, I've got the link, and I will put that down here. Um,
While you're doing that, I just saw a question.
yeah.
What is the best way to identify the right size company?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I liked that one. Okay, I know.
um, I don't know how to make it go on the
I can do
screen,
it.
but we can we can talk about it a little
Yeah.
bit. And this is going to be different for everybody, right? But one you want to do company research before as part of your job search action plan. And you need to think about what is it that's important to you about the place that you work. And
Mhm.
so I think that this question, what is the best way to identify the right size company, is for you to ask yourself, what kind of company and
Yeah.
what size do I want to work at? What has your experience been to date? Maybe you have some comparisons. Maybe you've worked at a really small company. Maybe you've worked also at a really large company, and there were some pros and cons to each of those.
Mhm.
It also might depend on the mission and the vision of the organization. It might depend on the type of work that you do and the kind of team that you want. So, the whole idea is to think about what type of organization is a good fit for me, and
Yeah.
then go from there.
Okay. Let's see. This is a good one. I'm a librarian. Is there a remote job for me?
I've had probably about 10 librarians that I've worked with over my
Yeah.
time at FlexJobs. Yeah, which I think, might not sound like very many,
Cool.
but to me, it's
No.
kind of a category that, you might not expect to have a lot of people, because libraries are usually
Yeah.
in person. But there are a lot of things that librarians do that transfer very well to remote jobs, like
Yeah.
research, organization, time management, those types of things. And so sometimes you might search for jobs using some of those key skills you have rather than the job
Yeah.
title librarian. And you will be able to see sort of a wide range of jobs in different industries that have the skill set that you bring to the table that have different job titles than librarian.
Yeah. So someone was also asking why can't we copy and paste the link? That might just be right now while we're live, but when this is over, you'll be able to see and you can get the links. And if not, I will do a massive dump of all of our like
Okay.
links right there in the comments so that everyone can see them. Let's see what else. Are there I live in the UK. Are these services still suitable for me, or is it only catered to people in the US?
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of resources on the FlexJob site and jobs that are available to people who live in the UK and anywhere in the world. It is true that FlexJobs is a US based company, and most of the jobs that are on the site are North American based, if you will. But we do have a way to search and find jobs that are available to you who live in the UK or anywhere in the world, which we've been talking about today. And so take advantage of going to the
Mhm.
site, look at the articles section on the blog, and maybe type in international. There is a article on international job seekers. There's
Yeah.
there's many on the site, but that might be a good place to start so you can
Mhm.
see some success stories. And Kelly, I know, attached the article for companies that hire people who live anywhere in the world. That's a really good way to do some
Mhm.
company research too. I live in the UK. I want to work for a company that
Yeah.
hires where I am, and these are the companies that interest me, and let's see what jobs are available.
I've got another one. I can't find it in this chat to highlight it, but are cover letters required? Most HR says that they barely read letters.
Yeah. Well, so this is a good question probably to end on, but the key word
Yeah.
there is most, right? Not
Yeah.
all. And so the issue
Mhm.
is that there are still people who want a cover letter and who read cover letters and won't look at a resume if it doesn't come with a
Yeah.
cover letter. As a job applicant, you usually don't know who you're going to get. And so
Yeah.
we always recommend writing a cover letter, sending a cover letter, whether it's asked for or not. The only reason, or the only reason we wouldn't suggest sending a cover letter is if the posting says, do not write a cover letter.
Yeah.
Follow directions, of course, but yes, a cover letter also, nobody likes to write them. I've never heard that people enjoy writing cover letters, but it is an opportunity for you to share more about your career story and to illustrate the skills that you have that match the job that you are applying for. So why not take that opportunity to improve your application and your candidacy from the get-go?
Totally. Okay, I agree with all that. That's awesome. Yay, you're the best.
Thanks, Cal. This
So
was fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the cool thing is at 2 o'clock, if anyone in here is a FlexJobs member, you guys are doing a Q&A session at 2 o'clock.
Me, I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. You'll be doing that. So that's 30 minutes from now. If you're a FlexJobs member, sign in and register and go, and you can ask any questions that weren't answered during this. I'm going to go through the comments and make sure that I can answer any questions or post any links if they didn't go through. And thanks to everyone for hanging out and asking your
Yeah,
questions. And thank you, Tony, for
yeah.
answering them.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye, everyone.